Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is What If Neglected Naruto Fell in Love with Kagaya, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this and comment for next part. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto Pav. It's my 7th birthday today, you expect it to be fun day for me but it's not. I hate. Ever since I was born I was abused and neglected by my so-called family. On the day of my birth the village was attacked by the Kyuubi. My father, the 4th Hokage, sealed the Kyuubi into his kids. My younger brother Menma and my twin sister Naruko both got the chakra of the Kyuubi while I got the soul. Ever since it was sealed into me, my parents have neglected me, they don't feed me, they don't train me, they abuse me and so does my siblings. But what's worse of all, Naruko is my twin and my parents treat her like an angel while they treat me like garbage. It's disgusting. As I was walking into my so-called home, I saw my family, with their friends celebrating Menma, Naruko, and Mito's birthday. It doesn't make sense why do I get chased around the village and get tortured and almost beaten to death while they get to have fun and throw a party. I just don't understand. Tsunade and Jiraiya Pav. As we watch Minato and Kushina celebrate Menma, Naruko, and Mito's birthday. We saw Naruto walk into the house and walk upstairs without saying anything. They forgot about him again. We both thought, as we were about to go walk upstairs to hand Naruto his presents, we were stopped by Sasuke and Mito with presents in their hands. Can we come with you? We want to see him. They ask as we give them a nod. We made our way to the attic and when we do we knock on the door and we don't get a response, we did it again, same thing. So we just walked in after one more knock. Naruto, we're coming in. Jiraiya said as he opened to the door and we were greeted with a horrific sight. We saw Naruto on the ground covered in blood and looked to be barely clinging to life. As we all rushed to him to see if he was alive we saw that he was asleep just covered in blood. We tell Sasuke and Mito to leave as we just stay in there. As they left, Tsunade went to heal Naruto while I wrote on a piece of paper, then I put it on the presents. Then I took out a chakra paper and it had the Uchiha crest on it. I began to pour chakra into it, then as I finished Itachi appeared in swirl of crows. You needed something, Jiraiya, Tsunade? Itachi asked. As Tsunade finished healing Naruto and wrapping bandages on him she finally turned to Itachi. Itachi, we need a favor. What is it? We want you to keep watch on Naruto until he gets into the academy, can you do that? Itachi nods as he begins to walk to Naruto. He stares at him, then he smiles, he looks so peaceful. Itachi said, then he bent down and taped Naruto's head with 2 fingers on his forehead, then he vanished. Then me and Tsunade both left Naruto's room quietly. Time skip. Naruto's Pav. It's been 5 years since I left my home and moved in with Sasuke's family. I was grateful for them, they treated me like family and they like one of their own. I was happy the first time in my whole life I was treated like everyone else, it made me feel happy. But that happiness soon faded away when I heard some shout, "Demon! Let's kill it!" When I heard someone shout that I immediately ran as fast as I could. I ran straight to the Uchiha compound, but before I could reach it I already saw Chunins blocking the way to the compound. I then saw an alleyway, so I ran straight down it so I could get away from the villagers and ninja, but unfortunately one of the ninja were a sensory type and they found me, over there. The demons over here. Before I could even run I was tackled by an Chunin and they started to punch me in the face repeatedly until the others go to where we was. After beating me non-stop, the villagers stopped and just when I thought it was over, I tried to run away but was soon grabbed by the hair and was slung into the wall. I watched in horror as a ninja soon took out a kunai and took both of my hands and put them together, then he stabbed the kunai into my hands. I then shout out in pain to signal to anyone to help me but no one did. I began to cry as I thought that this was the end. The ninja then brought another kunai and began to bring it to my cheeks as I began to shake my head no repeatedly to get the ninja to stop. He took the kunai and began to slice lines onto my whiskers. Mindscape. But before I could scream, I was suddenly pulled into some place that I didn't recognize it until I looked around. Then I noticed that I was in a swearer. I then began to walk around. Then I came across a large cage. Getting a good look at the cage, I saw that nothing was in it beside darkness. I then proceeded to walk towards the cage, and when I did, the darkness that was there was no longer there, and it was replaced with a giant fox that had 9 tails. Hello? I asked in a low voice, trying to get the fox's attention, which I succeeded in doing. So you finally came, the fox said as it began to stand up on all 4 legs. Why you're the Kyubi. I know, and don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. Hearing what he said, I somewhat calmed down. Why you're not? Why would I? You did nothing to me, but I did something to you. What did you do? I was sealed into you, in which I am sorry for that, Naruto. Quote. What's your name? What did you say? I won't forgive you unless you tell me your name. This kid, he's different. Kurama. My name is Kurama. Nice to meet you, Kurama. I said with a smile. Naruto. Do you want me to help you? What do you mean? You're being tortured out there. So I'm asking if you want me to help you. Quote. Please. You know that if I do, they are going to die. I don't care. Very well. Outside Mindscape. Itachi's Pav. Hearing word that Naruto was being attacked again, I quickly rushed to where he is, but before I got to where is, I saw a blast of dark red light being blasted into the sky. This chakra. The Kyubi. I quickly rushed to where it is, and when I got there, I was surprised. In the alleyway there was bodies everywhere, blood everywhere, but what surprised me the most was that there was a familiar blonde in the middle of the alleyway. As I jumped down from the rooftop where I was, I quickly saw that the blonde was Naruto, and he looked like he was on the brink of death. I quickly picked him up and I shunned to the nearest hospital. As I got in the hospital, I ran through the hospital to find a doctor. I quickly found a doctor and I told her what happened, and when she looked to see who was in my arms, her face quickly went from worry to disgust. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to help the demon, she said with disgust in her voice. Hearing what she said, I angrily flared my Mangekyo Sharingan to frighten her, which it did. Help him or you die, I said, as she quickly took a look at him and told me what he needed. He needs a blood transfusion, but I quickly cut her. I'll do it, I said, making her nod. Time skip. Third person Pav. It's been 2 days after Naruto was brought to the hospital. He was okay, but the doctors were not okay with it. Before Itachi left the hospital, he was surprised when he got the news from the doctor. She told him that Naruto would survive. But the doctors that were supposed to be keeping Naruto alive were not happy about this. Hey, help me kill the demon. How? We make it seem like he died from a natural cause. Like poison. But where are we going to get poison from? We can use the Hashirama cells. I heard that before Orochimaru left, he did experiments on people with the cells. And all the subjects ended up dead. But where are we going to get them? I know where one of his labs are that hold it. Okay, let's go get it. Naruto's Pav. Nah, Naruto. Did I just hear someone call my name? Wanting to know what it is, I slowly turn around, and when I did, I was met with a jaw-dropping view. I saw a beautiful woman. She had white pale eyes as the snow, she had light pale skin, and she had a very light blue hair that goes all the way past her feet. She had 2 horns that make look almost like a demon. She had a light red lipstick. She was wearing a yukata that had purple and yellow stripes going down and stopping at her chest. They are also at the bottom of yukata. Getting a good look at her, I saw that she looked to be in her mid-20s, but I could be wrong. Without knowing, the woman has been calling my name, but I couldn't hear her due to being put into a trance from her prettiness. Naruto. Hearing her scream my name, I quickly snap out of the trance to see the woman crying. For some reason, it pains me to see her like that. Do I know you? I ask, trying to start a conversation. No. Sadly, you don't. But I know who you are, my love. The woman said with a sad smile on her face. My love? What is she talking about? Kurama, do you know what she's talking about? Trying to figure out what is happening, I tried to ask Kurama, but he doesn't respond. If you are trying to communicate with the fox, don't bother. She said, "What? How does she know that I'm trying to talk to Kurama? How did you know?" I asked, trying to get an answer from the women. "I know everything about you, my love." The pale woman said with another sad smile, "Not to sound rude, but who are you, and why do you keep calling me, my love?" I asked, earning a small smile from the women. "Well, to answer your question, my love, I am Kagaya Otsutsuki, the goddess of chakra." Kagaya said with a smile. "So she is a goddess. But the creator of chakra at that." Now for the second part. "As for the reason I call you, my love, it's simple really. I have fallen in love with you, Naruto Uzumaki." Kagaya said with a noticeable blush on her face. As she said that, she started to move closer to me. Just in seconds our faces were only inches apart, which made me blush as well. What do you mean that yo-yo you fallen in love with me?" I asked in a surprised tone, making her grow an evil smirk. "How about I show you?" Kagaya said in a seductive voice. She started to move closer to my face, making me back up a little, but I was soon stopped when I was on a wall, which made me confused. It wasn't there before, so how is it there now? Now I was stuck and had nowhere to run to because Kagaya was now in front of me with an evil smirk. "I'm not going to hurt you, my love," the goddess said as she moved her head to mine. Only centimeters away, I gulped as she moved closer, but when I closed my eyes I felt something on my lips. It was soft, warming, gentle, it made everything go away. I opened my eyes slowly, and when I did I felt my face heat up and my heart skip a beat. In front of me was the goddess of chakra kissing me on the lips. I didn't know what to do. This was my first kiss, and it was not just with anyone, it was with a goddess. I quickly became nervous, but the nervousness soon vanished when she left my lips and looked at me in the eyes and smiled. "Does that answer your question, my love?" the goddess asks. I soon fell to the ground and landed on my back. Finding my expression funny, Kagaya starts to giggle as she lays down beside me. "Kurama." Trying to communicate with the Kyuubi for the last time, I failed. Then I remembered what Kagaya said, so I decided to ask. "Kagaya-sama." As soon as I said that, I got a death glare from Kagaya. "Just Kagaya, my love," Kagaya said as she sent me a death glare, making me flinch. "Oh, okay then. Kagaya, can I ask you 2 questions?" I ask and she responds with a nod. "Okay. First question. Why can I not talk to Kurama?" I ask with a serious expression. "The reason you are unable to communicate with the fox is that you don't have him anymore," the goddess said with a smile, making me confused. "What do you mean that I don't have him anymore?" I ask with a confused face. "The reason that you don't have him anymore is that I have removed him from you," the paled woman said with a smile as she looked at her love. "What do you mean you removed him? That's impossible. If you did, I should be dead," I said in a surprised tone, making the goddess giggle. "Don't worry, my love, I wouldn't let you die from something like that." "But you still are a Jinchuriki." Kagaya giggled. "What do you mean that I'm still a Jinchuriki?" I asked, being surprised at what she said. "You still have a tailed beast, it's just not the fox," Kagaya said. "Then which one do I have?" I asked, making Kagaya smile. "You have mine, my love. You have the Jubi," Kagaya said, earning a yell from the Uzumaki. "I have the Jubi," I asked, getting a nod from the goddess. "What?" I scream. "Don't worry, my love, nothing is going to happen to you, at least not from me," the goddess said in a seductive voice as she whispered into my ear, earning a confused look from her love. "Now for your second question, my love," Kagaya said. "Okay, for my final question. Why do you love me?" I asked, getting a serious look from the goddess. "Start music here." I sigh. "The reason that I love you is because." The goddess started to tense up. "The reason that I love you is because I saw what you went through," Kagaya said as she started to have tears going down her face. "I saw you get tortured by your villagers. And yet, you didn't kill them. Even though they caused you so much pain," the goddess said. "The same thing with your family. They abused you and neglected you, and yet you still didn't kill them, you just tolerated it," Kagaya said, still having tears coming down her face. I was speechless, didn't know that she was watching me and that she saw everything that happened to me. I didn't know what to think. But worst of all, I couldn't help the one that I loved. All I could was watch as you get beaten and tortured and abused and neglected. I couldn't do a single thing. I felt powerless. Then one night when I saw you almost dead lying in the street, it broke something in me. I felt my heart being stabbed over and over again. I thought I had lost you, and I thought I would never get to meet you or tell you how I feel. The goddess was now on the brink of crying hard, but she was refusing until she heard words she thought she would never hear. I never knew that she went through this. And she didn't have anyone for support. She saw every moment that I spent being tortured, abused, and beaten, but yet she couldn't do anything. And now, finally able to have someone to talk to, she can finally let all loose, but she is still refusing to let it all out. Seeing her like this, I don't know why, but I have this strange feeling in my chest. It hurts. It feels like my heart is being stabbed over and over again. Is this what Kagaya was talking about? Is this the feeling that she had when she saw me almost dead? I don't know what to do. I was never in this situation before, but I should do best to help. Not knowing what to do, I just pulled Kagaya into a hug and I spoke my heart. Kagaya, this makes me happy. I never knew that you cared this much about me. I never knew that you went through something like this. But I know that you're angry and sad, and that's okay, but you don't have to keep carrying those feelings anymore, because now I'll carry those feelings. I said, making Kagaya starting to cry a little bit more, until I said what she wanted to hear. Kagaya, I love you and I want to marry you. Hearing the words that she wanted to hear and some unexpected ones to, the goddess started to cry heavier. I love you too. And yes, I'll marry you. Naruto Pav. After I helped Kagaya release her pain, I asked her to change the scenery to grassland and with a tree above us. And when she did, I laid my back on the tree with her in my arms. Hey, Kagaya, I asked, getting the attention of the goddess, what is it, my love? Kagaya asked with a smile. Will I be able to see you again? I asked with a sad smile, making the goddess turn to me. Of course, my love. We'll always be together. The goddess said, earning a somewhat happy smile from the blonde. So Kagaya, when I leave this place, how will I see you again? I asked, making the pale woman smile. I'm glad you asked, my love. The goddess said as she started to move out of the blonde's arms and stand up. If you want to see me, you need to do two simple things. Kagaya said with a smile. I started to stand up when she said the first one. First, you need to kiss my hand while kneeling. The goddess said with a blush on her face, making the blonde smile at her nervous expression. I did as she said, and when I did, there was nothing that happened which made me confused, but I didn't bother asking about it. Now for the last one, you need to repeat after me. Kagaya said, and I replied with a nod. Watashi wa anata o aishitaimasu. Watashi wa anata o aishitaimasu. Watashi wa jikangatatsu. Watashi wa jikangatatsu. Made anata to isho ni itai no dezu. Made anata to isho ni itai no dezu. When we were done repeating, a bright light appeared and blinded us both. After the light died down, I felt hot around my chest. It wasn't painful, but it was hot. What is that? I thought as I lifted up my shirt. When I did, I was shocked at what was there. There was a rabbit tattoo on the right part of my chest. Kagaya, what is this? I asked in a somewhat scared voice, making her giggle a bit. It's a rabbit tattoo that shows that we are bonded together. Mind, body, and soul. Kagaya said with a smile as she came to me and pulled me into a hug, and I accepted. We both pulled away from the hug and we stared into each other's eyes, then we both giggled. Then for some reason I started to be surrounded by a light. I looked at my hands and saw that I was starting to fade away, and I started to panic like anyone else, which made Kagaya laugh, but she stopped laughing. Then she kissed me on the lips. Don't worry, my love, you are simply waking up. Kagaya said as she hugged me again. When will I see you again? I asked in a scared tone. Don't be scared, my love, just stay strong. And you'll see me when the time is right. Kagaya said as she pulled away from the hug. Well, until then, if we don't see each other for a while, I want to give you something. I said, making the goddess tilt her head in confusion. The light started to get brighter, so I made my move. I leaned closer to her face and she did the same. We both kissed each other and we enjoyed it, although it didn't last long. I love you, Kagaya. I love you, Naruto. Outside Mindscape. As I began to open my eyes slowly, I quickly closed them due to the bright lights. But my eyes soon adjusted, and when they did, I started to look around to see where I was. The room I was in was white and there were monitors beside the bed I was on, so I assumed that I'm in hospital. But I wasn't concerned with why I was concerned with when I would see Kagaya again. I quickly did a sweep around the room and saw no one in it, so I quickly got dressed and hop out the window. I made my way from rooftop to avoid the villagers, and any shinobi, but when I knew I got close to the Uchiha compound, I jumped off the rooftops and walked on the street. I made my way to the Uchiha compound, which was right around the corner, but when I was walking I accidentally bumped into someone and I didn't know who it was until I saw their hair. It was my mother and my sister. When I bumped into them, I didn't even bother looking at them. I quickly apologized and began to walk off until my mother grabbed my shoulder. Hey Naruto, where were you? Missed dinner last night. Kushina said. I shrugged my shoulder out of her hand and began to walk away until my sister spoke. Where are you going, Naruni? Naruko asked. I slowly looked back. My mother and sister both looked directly in my eyes. Home. Then I walked in the direction of the Uchiha compound but was stopped once again by my mother. Naruto, how about you walk home with us since we were already heading home? Kushina said with a smile. That isn't my home. I said with no emotions in my voice. This makes Kushina and Naruko confused. What are you talking about, Naruni? You only have one home. Naruko said. You're right, I only have one and that one isn't with you. Now if you'll excuse me. I said as I began to walk to the Uchiha compound once again. Kushina's pav. As Naruto walks off, I look at Naruko, who looked confused. Do you know what he was talking about, Naruko? I asked. No, I don't. I was going to ask you about that. But did you see his eyes? They were cold blue eyes, and they seemed dull when he was talking to us. Naruko said. You're right about that sign, Naruko. Go on ahead, I have to go talk to your father. I said as Naruko gave me nod and walked off. What's wrong with you, Naruto? Naruto's pav. After I left my mother and sister, I made my way home with no interruptions, which made me happy. As I got to the entrance of the compound, I saw a family that I recognized. It was my family, all of them, and it seems like they were going to visit me. I just stared at them until they noticed me. Naruto. They all screamed and they all rushed to me and hugged me tightly, which made me unable to breathe, but it wasn't hurting me. Guys, I can't breathe, I said as I struggled to get out of their grip. Oh, sorry about that, we just got carried away. Itachi said as he scratched the back of his head. Everyone seemed to be fine except for Mom, who was crying. I quickly hugged her to make her stop. Mom, I'm fine, you don't need to worry, I said as she kept crying. Oh, my boy, you're alive, Mom said in between sniffles, making me smile. It's okay, Mom, I'm fine, I said as I patted her back. Time skip. After I told them that I was okay, they asked me if I was physically okay. I told them that I was and they believed me. I then turned to Sasuke, who was just listening. Hey Sasuke, what's today? I asked, making him shoot his eyes open. Crap, Naruto, we need to go, we're going to be late for graduation, Sasuke said, making us both panic, and we both grabbed our heads shake, making everyone laugh. Let's go then, what are we waiting for? I scream as me and Sasuke ran to the academy. Time skip. Me and Sasuke both made it in time before Iruka-sensei called attendance. Naruto. Sasuke, you guys just cut it close, I'll let it slide since you guys are always here first. Now go take a seat, Iruka said as me and Sasuke both went to the back, took our seats. Okay, listen up everyone, today is graduation, so, as Iruka was telling us about the graduation test, I tuned it out until my name was called. Alright. Naruto Uzu. Ah, sorry about that, Naruto. Your name is close to Naruto's, so I got the two confused. Anyways, Naruto Uchiha, you're up. Iruka said as I went to where the test was being held. Alright, Naruto, I need you to perform a henge, a substitution jutsu, and any jutsu that you know. Now go. Iruka said. For my henge I did Madara Uchiha good. Iruka said. For the substitution I replaced myself with a log, then I did a shadow clone jutsu, I made 4 clones. Alright, shadow clone jutsu. Alright, Naruto, you passed with 10 out of 10, you and Sasuke tied at the top just like your older brother. Congratulations. Come collect your headband. Iruka said. I took the black one and went to the back the classroom and went back to where me and Sasuke was sitting, then Iruka came in. Congratulations on becoming Genin. From now on life will be tough, and full of challenges, but I expect you guys to overcome those challenges, and also I am proud of being your teacher. Now I will call out what teams you will be on and your Jonin sensei. Team 1. After Iruka started to call out teams, I fell asleep until Sasuke woke me up. Alright, Team 7 is Sakura Haruno Menma Namikaze Uzumaki, Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Naruto Uchiha. And your senseis are Kakashi Hatake and Kushina Uzumaki. Iruka said. Then me and Sasuke both fell asleep because we both know about Kakashi's tardiness. Time skip. Wake up, Naruto Baka. Wake up, Sasuke-kun, Sakura said. I swear she is annoying. Both annoyed. Me and Sasuke both do the Uchiha signature catchphrase we both said, HN. After saying that, my siblings looked at me like they wanted to say something but they didn't. Naruto Baka, you are not an Uchiha, so don't act like Sasuke. Sakura screamed. I swear she is so annoying, so I decided to make her be quiet by throwing a kunai near her head. Shut up before you die. I said coldly, making her flinch at my words, and just by taking a quick look in her eyes I could tell that she was afraid. Same thing with my siblings. As me and Sasuke was about to go back to sleep, the door opened and revealed our senseis. My first impression is I don't like any of you. Kakashi said. Alright, everyone, meet us at the roof in 3 minuets. Kushina said in a singing tone. As everyone was leaving, me and Sasuke just shunshin to the roof. How did you guys get up here so fast? Kushina asked in a surprised tone. Me and Sasuke just stayed quiet. After waiting for a minuet or two, everyone finally came to the roof and sat down. Alright, everyone, now since everyone is up here, let's start with introductions. Kakashi said, making Sakura tilt her head. How, sensei? Sakura said. Like your hobbies, dreams, likes and dislikes. Kakashi explained. How about you go first, sensei? Sakura said. Alright. My name is Kakashi Hatake. My likes. Well, I like a lot of things. My dislikes. I dislike many things. My hobbies are none of your concern. As for my dream, never real. Why, thought about one. Kakashi said. All you told us was your name. Everyone thought. Alright, Pink, you go. Kakashi said. My name is Sakura Haruno. I lie. Looks at Sasuke. My hobby is looks at Sasuke. My dream looks at Sasuke. Your dislikes. Ino Pig and Naruto Baka. Sakura screamed. Alright. Next, Mieto Jr. My name is Menma Namikaze Uzumaki. I like ramen, my family, and my sisters. My dislikes are my brother. My hobbies is spending time with my dad. And my dream is to become the Hokage. Menma said. Alright. Kushina II. My name is Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. I like ramen, my family, and my sister and my brother. My dislikes are rapists and arrogant people. My hobbies is spending time with my mom. And my dream is to become a strong ninja like mom. Naruto said with sparkles. Alright. Now for the Uchiha twins. Kakashi said, making Kushina and her kids confused. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I like my family, training, and hanging out with Naruto. My dislikes are Sakura, fangirls. My hobbies are training with Naruto and my older brother. My dream is to become an SSS ranked ninja. Sasuke said. Alright. Now the last Uchiha emo. My name is Naruto Uchiha. I like my family, Sasuke, Mito Namikaze Uzumaki, and a certain women that I have fallen in love with. I said, making everyone's white and even Sasuke, but Kakashi just gives me an eye smile, but I ignore them. My dislikes are Minato Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, Menma, and Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki. My hobbies are training with Sasuke and Itachi ni and spending time with my family. My dream. Never really thought about it until now. My dream is to become an SSS rank ninja, and to marry the women that I have fallen in love with. I said, making everyone even Kakashi eyes widen. Alright then. Well, meet us at training ground 7 and make sure not to eat breakfast. Kakashi said as he shunshined away. All that was left was me, Sasuke, Sakura, and my family. Hey Sasuke-kun, how about you leave Naruto Baka and go on a date with me? Sakura said, not no, she pissed me off, but I didn't show it. Don't you remember what happened when you called him that? It would be best if you stay away from me and my brother before I do something, or worse, I'll let him deal with you. Sasuke said with a not so happy face, making Sakura look at me in fear again. Hey Naruto. What is Sasuke talking about? Kushina whispered. Before you and Sensei arrived, Sakura woke up both Naru-ni and Sasuke, and Naru-ni took a kunai and threw it next to her head and said, shut before you die. Naruto said while whispering back to Kushina, making her look at me. Right before me and Sasuke were about to leave, Kushina spoke up. Naruto, where are you going? It's time to go home. Kushina said, making me somewhat mad. She keeps doing this, it's annoying. That's what I'm doing, Lady Kushina. I said, about to shunshin until her speak again, call me mom. I look at her with my cold blue eyes, I don't see a mom in front of me. All I see is a mother who abused her own son and forgets like it never happened. Now don't bother talking to me unless it's related to a mission or shinobi business. I said as me and Sasuke shunshin home. Kushina's pav. What is he talking about? Saying I abused him, I would never harm him. How dare he? How dare he talk to his own mother like that? Menma screamed. Don't worry Menma, he probably didn't mean it. But I do have a question for you too. I ask. What is it? They both asked. Do you know what Naruto was talking about when he said he fell in love with a woman? I ask. We don't know either, this was the first we heard of this. Naruto said. Okay, well, let's go home. Naruto's pav. Hey Naruto. When we were talking about ourselves, you mentioned something about women that you fallen in love with. Who were you talking about? Sasuke asked. I don't want to talk about it. It's a sensitive topic. I said. Okay then. I love you. Kagaya. Naruto's pav. Hey Sasuke, wake up. I said as I began to shake Sasuke. After 5 minutes of shaking Sasuke, he finally wakes up. Oh hey Naruto. What time is it? I began to grow a evil smirk on my face. It's past noon. I said as I turned around and began to giggle a little. Hearing what I said, Sasuke shoots up. Why didn't you wake me up? Naruto, we're late. Sasuke shouted, not caring about who was listening. I then turned around to him to show my evil smirk. Don't be so loud Sasuke, or you'll wake up everyone else. I said as I fell onto the ground and laughed, not able to control my breathing. Sasuke just gives me a I'll kill you glare, which made me stop. Naruto, now what time is it? Sasuke asked while starting to get undressed. It's actually noon. I said, which made him turn around slowly. So you're telling me we missed our genin exams? Sasuke screamed. Calm down Sasuke, remember we have Kakashi, so you know he is going to be late no matter what. I said as I saw that he was able to calm down a bit. Why didn't you say that before? Sasuke asked, putting on his shirt. It was too good of an opportunity for me not to make you mad, but I am sorry. I said as I bowed. You are forgiven, but I will get you back for this. Sasuke said as me and him walked down to the kitchen to eat breakfast. Why are you boys still home? You should have left 4 hours ago. Makoto screamed. Don't worry Ka-san, we have Kakashi as our sensei, so he's going to late even when we get there now. I said to reassure our mother. Mikito sighed as she knew that her son was right. Kakashi did have a reputation of being the most latest ninja when it came to doing anything. Well, sit down then, I already made breakfast. Mikito said as she slid her two sons their breakfast. When she did, she turned to me, who was scarfing down the food. I couldn't help it, her food was the best I have ever tasted. Hey Naruto, your birthday is today, right? Mikito asked as my facial expression suddenly changed from happy to horrified. Why, yeah, it is. Why? I asked as I turned to her, as I was afraid that she was going to start treating me like my other family. Well, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I couldn't resist. Me and your father have been talking and we decided to adopt you. Mikito said as my mood suddenly changed again. I looked at her and saw that she was smiling. I stood up and walked towards her slowly and hugged her tightly, but not to hurt her, and I started to cry. Hey, it's okay Naruto, but we're sorry that we didn't do this sooner. We just couldn't think of a way how. Mikito said. I looked at her and I was going to speak, but before I could, she spoke. Well, you guys should start heading to the training ground so you guys can take your test. I think Kakashi is already there. Mikito said as me and Sasuke nodded and left. Time skip. Third person POV. Naruto Baka, you're late. Sasuke-kun, why are you late? It doesn't matter, I'll let it slide. Sakura yelled. The blonde and black hair Uchihas both did the catchphrase for the Uchiha clan, HN. They both said as they headed to a tree and sat together. Then 3 minuets later, Kakashi and Kushina appeared in front of Team 7. Yo! Kakashi said as he waved his hand. You're late Kakashi, Kushina-sensei. Sakura yelled. Sorry, I was lost on the trail of life. Kakashi said with an eyed smile. That doesn't make any sense. Sakura yelled, making Kakashi give her an eye smile. Anyways, time for today's test. You guys will be taking these 2 bells from me. But if you don't, you will be sent back to the academy. Kakashi said, making Sakura confused. Wait sensei, there's only 4 bells but there's 5 of us. Sakura said, earning a mind blown from everyone. There's no way this girl's is that stupid. They all thought except Sakura. It means that one of us will be sent back while the others stay. Naruto said, earning a nod from Kakashi. He's right Sakura, so you guys should get R. Before he could finish, Menma and Naruto both attacked Kakashi at the same time, making the Jonin confused. I didn't say start. A true ninja never waits. They both said, earning a nod from their senseis, I suppose. Alright, start. The 2 Jonins yelled. Both Jonins teleported away while the others hid except Naruto and Sasuke. They just sat under a tree and took a nap. Time skip. Naruto's POV. Naruto, wake up. A voice said. I then felt my body be shaked. I start to open my eyes slowly. When they opened, I was met with a bright light. Naruto, come on, every got beaten, so it's just us. The voice said. I turned to see whose voice it was. It was Sasuke's. Hey Sasuke, what happened? Everyone lost, so it's just us. Okay. Let's go. Before me and Sasuke could stand up, we were met with a red-haired woman and a gray-haired man in front us. So you guys just took a nap here while your teammates fought? Kakashi asked. We both gave him a nod. Why? Kakashi asked. They would only get in our way. I said as Sasuke gave them a nod. Naruto, don't talk about your siblings like that. Kushina screamed, earning a death glare from me. They are not my siblings. I said, earning a confused look from my mother. Well, are you guys going to fight us or not? Sasuke asked, getting a nod from the Jonin. Me and Sasuke both stand up and look at each other and nod, signaling one-on-one. We both stared at the Jonin and ran at them. Sasuke's POV. As I ran at Kakashi with fast speed that caught him off guard, I went behind him and took both bells without him noticing, then replaced them with rocks. I then used a special jutsu that me and Naruto created. Don't let your enemy get behind you. Hidden leaf finger jutsu. 1,000 years of death. I screamed, making Kakashi scared. He tried to move, but it was already too late. I already used it. Now that he's finished, I should help Naruto. Nah, it's his mother. He would enjoy this. Naruto's POV. Finally I could fight. After watching Sasuke beat Kakashi couldn't help but smile. I then turned to my mother, who was holding her sword that she used during the war. She thinks she is able to hurt me. I think not, and I know the best way to get her. I start walking slowly to her with a fake sad face and pretend like I was sad. She was confused until she looked at my eyes. She saw that they were sad and full of pain, but they weren't. As I got closer to her, she lowered her sword down and looked at me. I acted like I was going to give her a hug, and she thought that too until I said this. You really think that I would let you touch me again after what you did to me? I don't understand why you had me when all you ever did was torture my life. I said, making my mother tense up. She was about to raise her sword, but I punched her hard in the stomach hard. I was about to punch her again, but before I could, she jumped backwards thinking that was going to help her, but it didn't. I ran at her with the same speed as Sasuke, and when I reached her I bent down and spinned and let my hands touch the ground. Then I used my hands to push my body forwards, and I lifted up my foot and connected with Kushina and sent her up into the sky. I then jumped up to where she was in the air and grabbed the bells and kicked her in the stomach hard and teleported away, letting her fall. Time skip. Naruto's POV. After getting the bells and sparring with Kushina, everyone started to come to where everyone was before we started. When Menma and Naruto got here and saw their precious mother, they quickly looked at me with anger in their eyes, but before they could speak they were silenced by Kakashi. But before Kakashi could speak, Kushina woke up and walked over to the group and avoided eye contact with me, but she was tackled by Naruto and Menma. So Naruto, Sasuke, what do you two plan on doing? You both got the bells, so you decide. Kakashi said. Me and Sasuke both looked at each other and shrugged our shoulders and threw the bells to Sakura, who was upset, Naruto and Menma, who was mad, and I let Sasuke end up having the bell. Naruto, now everyone has a bell. Do you know what that means, don't you? Kakashi asked. I nod. It means I stay on the team. I said with void of emotions in my voice, and earning glares from Naruto and Menma, who was still mad. Are you that stupid? Do you honestly think that they would let you stay on the team? You don't even have a bell. Menma yelled. Shut up, Menma, pay attention for once. I'm staying on this team for a multiple of reasons. I said, making Menma talk back. Oh yeah, like what? Menma yelled. Fine, I'll tell you. 1. Me and Sasuke cannot be apart because we work better together. 2. And this one and the next couple are the most simplest ones, and they will prove that you don't pay attention. In case if you haven't noticed, me and Sasuke both took out some of the most strongest ninjas in the village without a problem and taking their bells. 3. We didn't get hit by them. 4. We got the bells on our own. 5. Now this one is the most simplest one. Each team consists of 4 people, 1 Jonin and 3 Genins. Now if I would magically get taken of the team, I wouldn't be able to go to a different one because that would make it uneven, and this team is already uneven. Now next time you decide to open your mouth to argue, make sure you know your facts. I said as I made Kushina, Kakashi, and Menma amazed, mad. He's lying, it must be. He's telling the truth, Menma. Naruto did take us out and did get the bells, so he right. Kakashi said, earning a nod from me. And because that, Kakashi teleported behind me, but I was too slow to respond, and before I knew it I passed out. Third person POV. Kakashi, why would you do that? Sasuke yelled, earning a baby giggle from Kakashi. It's a prank, don't worry and don't untie him, we'll come back in 4 hours. Kakashi said. Now let's go report to Lord Hokage. Time skip. Third person POV. That's all that has happened, Hokage-sama. Kakashi said as he stood before the Hokage and the 2 Sannin. So Kakashi, where is Naruto? Tsunade asked, wanting to congratulate him on becoming a genin. Kakashi turned around with a eyed smile. I tied him up at the training ground. Kakashi said with a eyed smile. You fool. Jiraiya screamed. What are you talking about, Jiraiya-sama? Kakashi asked. Kakashi, the villagers hate Naruto. Tsunade yelled as she ran out of the room. Anbu with me. Jiraiya yelled as 5 Anbu appeared behind Jiraiya. The villagers don't Naruto. They must be exaggerating. Minato thought. Time skip. Naruto's POV. I started to open my eyes, and when I did, I saw that I am sitting the training ground, and I tried moving around, but I was tied up. I looked down and saw a note that read, Naruto, Kakashi said that we will get you in 4 hours and that this is a prank from Sasuke. I sighed and just laid back, not caring, until I heard chattering. I heard that this is the place where the demon trains. Let's rig it and hope he dies. I looked to where it was, and when I did, I saw the villagers and they saw me. There he is. I found the demon. No, no, no. Not again. I thought as I saw them get closer. When they reached me, they took out kunai and began to smile wickedly. Time to kill the demon. I soon felt a kunai being plunged into my stomach. I began to scream in pain as another villager took a kunai and slashed it across my face. I began to feel tears coming down my face along with the blood. The villagers then took another kunai and started to, demon and monster, into my chest. I then thought that I was going to die, but I didn't want to. But I couldn't do a thing about it. Then it was too late. They took the kunai and ran it through my heart, causing me to spit out blood. I died. Mindscape. I'm here for you. Who's there? Me. I'm the Jubi. The Jubi. Oh, you're the one that Kagaya talked about. So she told you. Well, you're lucky. Lucky. How? Kagaya never loved anyone until you. She didn't. Nope. So consider yourself lucky. So Naruto, I see that you're dead. Yes, I guess I won't be able to see Kagaya again. You will. How? Simple. I bring you back to life. Do you want that? Yes. Please do. Okay. Now when I do, you will still be tortured by the villagers unless I kill them, just like Kurama said. I know and I don't care. Very well. So before I go, what's your name? My name. It's Mei. Mei, huh? It's a beautiful name. Thank you. Now get going so you can go see Kagaya. Outside Mindscape. Sasuke's POV. As we were about to reach the training ground, we all sensed intense bloodlust. But before we made it, there was a dark purple beam shooting up into the sky. We all reached the training ground, and when we did, we was met with a disgusting sight. There was blood everywhere. Heads severed from the bodies. Grass drenched in blood. But there was 2 people there who were alive. One of them was Naruto, who was laying on the ground, and the other one was a pale-skinned woman with long light blue hair. She sitting on her knees, and she said something that made everyone's eyes widen. I'm home, my love. Third person's POV. I'm home, my love. Everyone was confused and disgusted at the scene of blood, and who the pale woman was. Who are you? Makoto yelled in anger. Kagaya then turned to her, and when she did, she saw Naruto's adoptive family along with his teammates, and some people she didn't want to see. She didn't bother paying attention to all the glares that she was getting, but she did pay attention to the glares she was getting from Naruto's biological family. She was pissed at the fact that they even bother showing their faces after all this time. She then turned back to Naruto and smiled and began to stroke her hand through his blonde spiky hair. She was hoping that he would wake up. She was worried that she wasn't able to be there with Naruto to protect him, but she couldn't. But luck was on her side. She then heard a groan from the blonde to signal that he was waking up. Naruto's POV. What happened? Where am I? That's right. The villagers. I killed them. I should wake up. Everyone's probably worrying about me. Trying my hardest to open my eyes for what felt like an eternity, I finally succeeded. As my eyes open, I saw someone that I didn't expected to see. It was Kagaya. Kagaya? I asked. Receiving a nod from the goddess, I got up extremely fast and I embraced her with a tight hug, which accept. I then start to have some tears go down my face, which confused everyone, even Kakashi, but Sasuke and Kakashi had a thought about who this was. I missed you. I whispered, making Kagaya blush a little and making her speechless, but she soon responded, I missed you too. She whispered. Cough. Hearing someone cough, I quickly separated from Kagaya and turned my head, and when I did, I was met with my adoptive family, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and my biological family. Hey guys. How long have you been standing there? I asked with a smile, making my adoptive mother speak, the whole time. But Naruto, who is this? Makoto asked as everyone nodded in agreement, making me blush a little. Well, I want to talk about it here. We can talk about it at home. I said, making everyone nod but made the Namakazes confused. Okay, let's go. Naruto said as he stood up and gave Kagaya his hand to help her stand up. Everyone began to walk to the Uchiha compound, leaving the Namikaze family. The Namikaze started to chase them, but when the Uchiha family walked over the bridge, they all shunshin to their home. So the Namikaze started to make their way to the Uchiha compound. Time skip. Third person's POV. Everyone was sitting down in the living room. Makoto was sitting next to Fagyuku, Sasuke was sitting next to Itachi, Jiraiya was standing next to Tsunade, and Naruto was sitting next to Kagaya. Naruto, now is the time to explain who this lady is. Makoto asked, making Naruto nod. Well, first off, introductions. Sigh. Well, first off, I want you guys to meet my fiancé. Naruto said, making everyone's eyes widen, even Kakashi. But Makoto and Feigaku wasn't keeping control of their emotions. What do you mean that she is your fiancé? You're only 12 years old. Makoto yelled, making everyone cover their ears, even Kagaya. Makoto, calm down. Feigaku screamed, making Makoto look at him with a confused look. What do you mean calm down, Feigaku? Don't you understand what's going on here? Our son already has a fiancé and he isn't even 16. Makoto yelled. Mom, please calm down, please. Naruto said with a calm tone, making everyone sigh with gladness that Naruto wasn't screaming. Makoto then looks towards to Naruto. How can I calm down, Naruto? You are talking about having a fiancé. Makoto yelled. Mom, please, I know that I'm too young to be engaged, but please, she makes me happy. Naruto said as he looked directly into his black-haired mother's black eyes. She takes a couple of seconds before she began to notice the determination in her son's eyes. Makoto then starts to smile at her son. Sigh, fine. At least tell us her name. Makoto said, making Naruto smile. Well, this is Kagaya Otsutsuki. Naruto said. Kagaya then nods her head to Naruto to signal to continue with the introductions. Okay, Kagaya, this is my adoptive family. This is my mother Makoto Uchiha. The person sitting next to her is my father Feigaku Uchiha. The tall one and short one are my brothers, Sasuke and Itachi Uchiha. And the other two that are standing over there are my godparents, Jiraiya, and the standing next to him is Tsunade Senju. Naruto explained. Naruto was about to speak again but was interrupted when there was a knock at the door. Everyone became quiet because no one knew who it was. I'll get it, Makoto said as she stood up and began to walk to the door. When she got to the door, she unlocked it and opened it, and when she did, she was greeted with a smiling Kushina, Minato, Naruto, Mito, and Menma. She was soon angered at the fact that they dared to show up at her home, but she hid her anger. Makoto then greeted them with a smile. How can I help you, Kushina? Makoto asked. Well, Makoto, I was wondering if you have seen that lady from the training ground, the one that was with Naruto. Kushina said, making Makoto even more angry. How dare she? Not even worried about her own son. Makoto thought, but she still kept up her act. No. Sorry, I haven't seen her. Why do you ask? Makoto asked, making Minato speak up. The reason that we are looking for her is because we saw her with you and your family along with Naruto. Minato said. What are you saying? Makoto asked. What I am saying is that we are looking for Naruto. We know that he is here, so there is no need in denying that he is not. Minato said, using authority in his voice. Sai, why do you want him? Makoto asked, slightly getting more angry. Why would we need a reason to see our son? Kushina yelled. At this point Makoto was pissed. Your son? He is not your son. Makoto yelled in anger. Naruto's POV. Everyone was talking and laughing in the living room. It was nice to see everyone like this, but these things don't last long. He is not your son. Everyone was confused on what was going on, so was I. We all looked to where the shouting came from, and when we did, we saw an unpleasant sight. It was my family. Dad. I looked towards my black-haired father and saw him looking a little enraged, but I doubt it. Don't worry, son, just go upstairs with Kagaya and Sasuke. Itachi, make sure that they don't go and do anything. We don't want any blonde little Naruto running around now, do we? Feigaku joked. Me and Kagaya both looked at each other for a quick second, then we looked away while blushing, while Sasuke and Itachi just smiled and laughed along with Feigaku. Well, I'm going to go see what your mother is screaming about while you guys head upstairs and do not interfere. Feigaku said as he stood up and began to walk towards the door. So what do you guys want to do? I asked. I don't know. What about you, Sasuke? Itachi asked, looking at Sasuke. All he did was shrug his shoulders. I then looked towards Kagaya. What about you, Kagaya? I asked as I looked towards the goddess. I'm okay with anything that you do, my love. Kagaya said as she smiled at me, making me smile back. Well, I don't know what to do, I'm out of ideas. I said as I looked around. You are not adopting our son. We all heard someone screaming coming from the door. I looked towards Itachi, who looked worried. Hey Itachi, what's wrong? I asked, making him look towards me. I don't know, little brother. Itachi said. I then stand up and began walking towards the door. Naruto, what are you doing? Dad said do not interfere. Itachi said as he stooped up. I know what Dad said, but they are talking about me and they said they were going to adopt me, and my biological family doesn't approve, so why not make them? I said, making everyone confused except Kagaya, instead making her smile. You should let him go, he is going to make things interesting. Kagaya said as she stood up and began to walk towards me. But Dad said, he said to not interfere, but he didn't say that if he was forced to interfere. And besides, I'm always going to support my beloved's answer, Kagaya said with a smirk, making everyone's face palm, but I smiled. He thanks Kagaya, it means a lot. I said as I blushed and looked away. Itachi sighed and shook his head. Fine, go ahead, just don't cause trouble for Mom and Dad. Itachi said as he rubbed his nose, making Naruto and Kagaya smile and walk to the door. Naruto's POV. As me and Kagaya made our way to the door, and as we made our way down the hall, I began to tense up. I tried to hide it, but I failed. Kagaya noticed, and when she did, she stopped me. What's wrong, my love? You look afraid. Kagaya said, making me look at her. You notice, huh? Well, I am a little bit scared, but I'm not. I said, making the goddess confused. You're not? Kagaya asked while tilting her head. Yeah, I'm not. I said. Why? Kagaya asked. I looked at her and gave her a gentle smile and looked her in the eyes. Yeah, I'm not, it's because I have you. I said, making her smile and blush. Both me and her just stare at each other, and then we move our heads closer to each other, and before we both knew it, we kissed. I felt her nice, warm, gentle, soft lips. We kept kissing for the next couple of seconds before I felt something in my mouth. It felt warm and wet. I was so confused until it came to my mind. It was her tongue. It made me feel safe. It was like that time when we first met, when she kissed me. It felt nice. We soon separated to breathe. When we did, we looked at each other and blushed. I love you, Naruto. Kagaya said with a slight blush on her face, making me smile. I love you too, Kagaya. I said as we both smiled at each other and laughed, then made our way to the door, where we saw my mom and dad having a full-on argument with my biological family, which made me happy that they wanted to keep me. As soon as me and Kagaya made our way to the door, I was bombarded. Naruto, what are you doing here? Makoto asked, making Feigaku turn around and making the Namakazes turn their attention to me and Kagaya. Naruto, why are you here? I thought I told you and everyone not to come here. Feigaku said. Well, you said not to interfere, but you said nothing about being forced to interfere. I said as Feigaku looked surprised at my answer. Who are you and why are you next to my son? Minato yelled at Kagaya, who just stood next to me with a normal face expression. Kagaya didn't answer him, but I could tell she was angry. I didn't even bother answering my parents, but I did talk to my adoptive parents, or soon to be. So Mom, Dad, I said, making Kushina, Minato, Makoto, and Feigaku speak at the same time. What? They all responded. I didn't respond to Kushina or Minato. When are we going to file the adoption papers? I asked, making Makoto and Feigaku smile while Kushina and Minato mad. Naruto, why are you asking them about adoption papers when your family is already here in front of you? Kushina yelled, making me turn to her. What do you mean, Lady Kushina? My family is right in front of you and in the other room, I said, making Kushina and Minato confused. Naruto, don't use honorifics on your mother, Minato said, making me turn to him. What do you mean, Lord Fourth? Lady Kushina isn't my mother, I said, making Kushina look devastated. Anyways, Mom, Dad, like I was saying, when are we going to get the adoption papers? I asked, making both Naruto and Menma speak up. How dare you talk like that to your own mother and father? Menma screamed, making me turn to him and stare at him like I was going to kill him. What are you talking about? They are not my parents, I said, hiding my anger. How dare you? They are your parents. Don't treat them like that, Menma yelled as he tried to rush at me but was soon grabbed by Minato. I'll kill that bastard, Menma screamed. Naruto, let's go, we're going home, Minato said as he began to reach for my arm. But I quickly deflect his hand. Don't touch me, I said, making Menma scream. How dare you? Menma yelled. Naruto, who's been quiet this whole time, finally speaks up. Naru-ni, why are you like this? Naruto asked with tears going down her face. I turned to her. Why? It's simple, really, I don't want to be with an abusive family, that's why, I said with a straight face. But I soon got an idea. Okay, how about this? If you guys can beat me in a fight, then I will go back to your family. But if I win, I stay with my family and they get to adopt me, I said, getting a evil look from Menma. Third person Pav. Everyone looked surprised at the blonde's statement. The Namikaze's twins were somewhat confident, but that confidence wouldn't help them. We have a deal. You have 1 week. Be in the middle of the Uchiha compound at 3 o'clock. Minato said, earning a sadistic smile from his son, not knowing that he had signed his kid's death warrant. Alright, then you guys better hurry up and start training, because if you don't, I will kill you, Naruto said as he began to walk back with Kagaya following in pursuit. Naruto's Pav. As me and Kagaya made our way upstairs to my room, I opened the door and let her go in first before I go in. After Kagaya walked in, I closed the door behind me for privacy. I began to walk over to my bed, and when I reached it, I sat down and patted next to me to signal Kagaya to sit down. When she sat down, I started to feel my face heat up, but it soon cooled down. Am I gonna win? I thought. While I was trying to figure out if I was going to win, I soon felt something on my hand. Looking to where my hand is, I saw that Kagaya's hand was on top of mine. When I looked at her, I saw that she was blushing too. Hey Kagaya, do you think I'm going to win? I asked, making the goddess look at me with a smile. I do. Why do you ask? Kagaya asks. Well, it's just that I haven't trained in using Mei's power, while the Namikaze's trained in using Kurama's power, Naruto said with a saddened smile. Kagaya, noticing the smile, decides to help Naruto by hugging him from behind. When she moved to Naruto and hugged him from behind, he felt her touching his back, making him jump. Kagaya, what are you doing? Naruto asked in a surprised tone, making the goddess grow an evil smirk. What? Am I not allowed to hug you? How about a kiss? Kagaya asked, making the blonde get out of her hug and turn around to her. What are you say? Before Naruto could finish talking, he was interrupted by Kagaya placing her lips on his, making Naruto's eyes widen, but he soon did the same. They soon parted away from the kiss and look into each other's eyes. Naruto-kun, you don't need to worry about the fight. I know that you would win. And besides, you don't need to train in using Mei's power, just let her take control, the goddess said with a smirk. If Naruto lets Mei take control, he would look even hotter. He'll probably even dominate me, Kagaya thought with a blush at her second thought. Alright, I will, Naruto said with a smile. Time skip. Naruto's Pav. It's been a week now, and I have changed. My body became more muscular, and I was able to use some of Mei's power, but over the time I did learn some rather interesting things from Mei. She told me how Kagaya wanted Mei take control over my body and see what would happen to my body. But that wasn't the only thing. She also told me how her and Kagaya could communicate through telepathic thoughts. She told how Kagaya wanted me to dominate her and some other things. It kinda made happy that she would actually want me to do things like that to her, but it also kinda made me a little uneasy around her because of that. Naruto-kun, wake up. I begin to open my eyes slowly, and when they were able to open fully, I saw Kagaya on top of me. Kagaya. What or why you doing? I asked in a quiet but surprised tone, making Kagaya smile at me. What do you think I'm doing, silly? I'm waking you up, Kagaya said with a giggle, making me blush. She looks so cute. And you're engaged to her. Oh hey May. Did you sleep well? Giggles, I did. Hey Naruto. Kagaya-san, it's time for breakfast. Makoto yelled, making me groan. Hey Kagaya, can you get off of me now? I asked, making Kagaya shake her head. I'm afraid I can't do that, Naruto-kun. Kagaya said with a sly smile, making confused. What do you mean? I asked in a confused tone. If you want me to get off of you, you need to kiss me. Kagaya said with a sly smile, making me blush. I swear she's going to be the death of me. I nod at Kagaya, making her smile. I then sigh and begin to move my head to her as she does the same. Mini timeskip. Naruto's POV. After finishing breakfast, everyone begins to look at me with a sad face, which caught my attention. What's with the sad faces, guys? I asked, making everyone tense up. Naruto, are you sure you want to do this? Are you strong enough to fight the twins? Makoto asked with a sad tone. I'm confident that I will be able to hold my own, I said as I begin to stand up and make my way to the door. My family then begins to follow my lead, and we make our way to the middle of the compound. As we were walking down the street, I noticed that all the other Uchihas were giving me and my family smiles and shouting, "Do your best," or "Good luck." It made me happy that there were people like them in my life that actually cared other than my family. As we started to get closer to the middle of the compound, I saw that there were all the other clan heads and heirs standing next to the fourth Hokage. Not only them but the Uchihas came to, which made me happy. As we got there, I saw that Menma and Naruto were wearing their same clothes, while I was wearing a different outfit. The outfit that I was wearing consisted of black t-shirt, with black Anbu pants, and a black jacket that had the kanji for 10 that was in white. Alright, now that the participants are here, we may start the fight, but before we start, does anyone have anything to say? Minato asked, making me raise my hand. I do. I said, making everyone look at me. What do you have to say? Minato asked, making me turn to my father. Dad, can I use them? I asked, making everyone curious about what I was asking. Everyone then turned to Feigaku as he gave me a nod, making me smile. Alright, I'm ready. Carry on. I said, making Minato nod. Alright, here are the rules. Number 1. No killing. Number 2. No injuries that would stay permanent. And those are the rules. Anyone that breaks the rules would have to forfeit the match. Is that understood? Naruto, Menma, and me nod, making Minato nod. Hey May, can you sing the song for me? Sure. 1. I wanna start by letting you know this. 2. Because of you, my life has a purpose. 3. You helped me be who I am today. Start. I then activate my Sharingan, making everyone's eyes widen, even my family except Feigaku, since I told him. I see myself in every word you say. Sometimes it feels like nobody gets me. Trapped in a world where everyone hates me. There's so much that I'm going through. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I then rush at Menma at my top speed, making him look for me. By the time I reached him, I hit him in the face, making him stagger back. Naruto the rushes at me with a kunai in her hand, but before she could cut me with it, I dropped to the ground to swipe my feet under Naruto's, making her fall down. I was broken. I was choking. I was lost. This song saved my life. I was bleeding. Stopped believing. Could have died. This song saved my life. Menma then stands up and takes out a kunai and tries to cut me, which he succeeded in doing. I then jump back and watch as he helps Naruto up. I was down. I was drowning. But it came on just in time. This song saved my life. They then proceeded to get on all fours and they started to go into tailed beast state. They then rush at me faster than what they were, but that wasn't enough. I then run at them and when I reached them I slid under them and punched them both in the gut. Sometimes I feel like you've known me forever. You always know how to make me feel better. Because of you my dad and me are so much closer than we used to be. I then hear the Uchihas shouting at me telling me to keep going, while the other clan heads shouted the same but to Naruto and Menma. Not even one clan is on my side. You're my escape when I'm stuck in this small town. I turn you up whenever I feel down. You let me know like no one else that it's okay be myself. What's the point? They don't care about me. No one does. Only the Uchihas. You're a demon. You're not one of us. That's right, a demon. I'm a demon. I need to accept that. I was broken. I was choking. I was lost. This song saved my life. I was bleeding. Stopped believing. Could have died. This song saved my life. Ah, my eyes felt like they were on fire. I couldn't do anything, they burned. I fell to my knees holding my eyes, making Menma and Naruto stop and making everyone go quiet. The Uchihas knew what was happening. They knew what was happening to me. Sasuke went to go help me up but he was stopped by Kagaya. What are you doing? He's in pain. Sasuke shouted, making Kagaya speak. If you get close to him you might die. She said, making everyone look towards her. What do you mean, Kagaya-san? Makoto asks. He's going into tailed beast state. She said with a face with no emotion. I was down. I was drowning. But it came on just in time. This song saved my life. Pain, death, suffering. That's what makes a demon. I said as I begin to stand up and let my hands fall to my sides. Everyone stared at me with fear. I then heard Minato say, Mangekyo Sharingan. My body then started to feel stronger. I then start to look at my hand and saw that it was being covered in a dark purple substance which I assumed was my tailed beast stated. I then started to feel stronger by the second. I felt something wiggle on the back also, so I looked behind me and saw that there were 10 tails. You'll never know what it means to me. That I'm not alone. That I'll never have to be. I then look at Menma and Naruto and rushed at them again and punched Menma into the ground, resulting in him losing consciousness. I was broken. I was choking. I was lost. This song saved my life. I was bleeding. Stopped believing. Could have died. This song saved my life. I was down. I was drowning. But it came on just in time. This song saved my life. My life. My life. This song saved my life. My life. My life. This song saved my life. My life. My life. I'm such an idiot. I accidentally deleted the chapter that I posted yesterday and I am sorry for those who didn't get to read the chapter, so I'll just give you a recap on what happened. Naruto begged Minato for a C rank mission. They ended up getting the mission. Naruto talks to Mei about Tazuna and him becoming friends because of his drinking. Naruto pulls out a kunai and messes with Tazuna. In then end of the chapter, Makoto asks Kagaya, why do you love Naruto? Naruto, where are you going? I said I'm going to go train. Now leave me alone. I yelled at Kushina. Ever since I killed the demon brothers, I've been bothered by Kushina. I don't understand why. All I did was kill them. As I left the house and was starting to make my way to a nearby forest, I saw that this town was very poor. The stores barely have food, the adults are barely making money. But worst of all, the kids. They are struggling, they don't have parents, nor do they have food. As I was walking, I was stopped by a little girl. She looks so frail. I thought with pity. Excuse me, mister. But do you have any food? The girl asked with tint of sadness. I gave her a smile and bent down to her height. I then placed my hand on her head, making her flinch. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. And here, I said as I reached for my bag and brought out my rations. I then give them to her, making her tear up and hug me, making us both fall to the ground. Thank you so much, mister. The girl said, making me smile. I then get up from the ground and looked at her. You know, you remind me so much of my younger self. I said, making the girl look at me in confusion. What do you mean, mister? She asked, making me look at her with a sad smile. I had the same childhood as you. Now let's not talk about that. I have a question for you, would you mind answering it? I asked, making the girl nod. Why is this town so poor? The girl soon gave me what I wanted to hear, which made me grin evilly, but I hid it with a fake smile. Gato. You're going to kill him. Yeah, but not before I help the people here. What are you going to do? You'll see. I see. Thank you. Now if you'll excuse me, I have something to go do. I said, making the girl nod and run away. Now time to go. Mini time skip. Hey, what's that smell? A villager asked. I don't know, but it smells good. Another villager asked. As everyone smelled what was going on, they started to make the way to middle of the town. When they got there, they saw a sight they thought they didn't expect to see. What they saw was none other than me. Hey everyone, listen up. I heard that ever since Gato took control, you guys have been in trouble financially. And I can relate, and I know that I'm here on a mission to protect the bridge builder, but I have an alternate mission now. And that is to rebuild the wave. I said with a big smile, making everyone awestruck. Alright everyone, please form a line. I said as everyone started to form a line. After everyone formed a line, I started to cut the boar and put the meat on the plates, making everyone smile. Mini time skip. As I was on the last person, I was surprised on who it was. It was that same girl from earlier. Hey, how are you? I asked, making the girl smile at me. I'm good, mister, and thank you for doing this. She said as she gave me a bright smile, making me do the same. You're welcome, little one, I said as I gave her a plate. After serving everyone, I noticed that this once gloomy town is now a happy ball of sunshine. Was this what you were talking about, Naruto? Yeah, it was. You know, if Kagaya was here, she would reward you. What do you mean? You know what I mean, Naruto. May, are you okay? Because I think you're going crazy because I don't know what you are talking about. You'll know soon enough. Sigh, I'm just gonna go back. Mini time skip. Naruto, where were you? Kakashi asked as he made everyone look at me in confusion. Wait, Naru was gone. Naruko asked, making me look at her like I always do when she pisses me off. Even now, when you try to get me to come back, you still forget me. And you even call yourself my sister. Pathetic. I said as I look around and spot Tazuna on the couch watching TV while drinking. I then walk over into the living room and sit on the opposite side of Tazuna. Hey Hiccups kid. Here Hiccups, try this. Tazuna said as he handed me his bottle of sake. Thanks. I said as I took a sip, and as I did I heard Mei snickering, but I just ignore it. To answer your question, Kakashi, I was out training, then I became a savior. I said as I slouched back into the couch, making everyone look at me confused except for Tazuna. A savior? Tsunami asked, making me look at her with a smile. Go look outside. I said as I went back to what I was doing. Before me and Tazuna could get back to drinking, we were interrupted with loud gasps from everyone, making me smirk. Naruto, you did this? Tsunami asked, making me look at her with an innocent smile. Yes, I did. Before, people had no hope that you guys were going to make it, but now look at everyone, they have hope. This town was never lively, but now it is all because they have hope. I said as I stood up from the couch and walked over to the door where everyone was, making them look at me. Everyone said that Gato was the reason that the town was like this. Well, if he did this, then he can undo it. I said, making everyone look at me confused. What do you mean, Naruto? Kakashi asked, trying to keep calm, but he couldn't. I'm going to kill Gato along with some of my friends. I said as I made hand signals. Kuchio's no jutsu. Everyone was surprised when they heard and saw me perform the jutsu. Standing in front of us was a tall woman around Kagaya's height. She had very long, red crimson hair along with crimson eyes. She also had the same bust line like Kagaya, I assume, but if not a little bigger. She was also accompanied by two other women. One of them was a little identical to me, but her hair was a white hair with a bit of black in her hair. She also had very light black eyes. The other women were the opposite of Kushina. She was the same height, the same length of hair, but the hair was white. She also had white eyes. To top it all off, they all had fox-like eyes. Huh. Where are we? The vixen woman asked as she looked around. She looked over everyone until her eyes landed on me, and when they did, I swear I saw them sparkle. Naru-kun. She screamed, making everyone's eyes widen, that she knows me, but also making everyone have a bead of sweat go down their forehead. She then runs to me and tackle me to the floor and hitting my head onto the floor and knocking me unconscious. Mini time skip. Oni-sama, why would you hurt Naruto-sama? I couldn't help myself. Okay, I haven't seen him in a long time. Oni-sama. Oni-san, it was just an accident. Oni-sama just couldn't control her excitement, that's all. As I heard faint yelling, I began to open my eyes a little but not fully, afraid that I'm going to get blinded by the light. What's going on? Why does my head hurt? Well, to put in a short version, you got knocked unconscious, but you're fine, just a minor headache. Okay, thanks, May. Anytime, Naruto-kun. Might as well get up. As I throw the blankets off of me, I start to make my way to the door, and when I did, I could hear faint arguing. Sighing, I just opened the door quietly, and when I did, I closed back quietly and walked down the hall and down the steps, and when I got to the kitchen, I was greeted by all eyes on me and people screaming my name. What's going on? Why is everyone yelling? I asked as I began to make my way to the couch where Tazuna was. Naruto, you have some explaining to do. Kakashi said, making me look over to the other girls in the room. This is going to be fun. Didn't you figure it out? I asked, making everyone look at me in confusion. What do you mean, Naruto? Sakura asked, making me look at her in surprise, not adding, Baka, to my name. That's surprising, but to answer your question, they are my sisters. I said, making everyone's eyes widen. What do you mean, Naruto? You only have 2 sisters. Kushina said, making me look towards her. They have my DNA. I said with a blank face, he's not lying. After all, he did give me part of DNA, the vixen women said, making everyone look at me like I was crazy. Naru, before you ask, no, we did not have. That's just her personality. I said as I stand up and walk over to where everyone is. Listen up everyone, let's start with introductions. This is Kamiho, also known as the 9-tailed fox, but she doesn't like being called that, so just call her by her name if she allows you to. Heyo. This is Sumu. She is the sister of Kamiho, and she is also my opposite identical twin, as we like to say it. Greetings. And lastly, the second Kamiho reincarnation. None other than Allah herself. If you get close or even hurt Naru-sama, I will kill you. Hehehe, well, now that is over. Naruto, we're not done. Kakashi said with authority in his voice, making the 3 vixens look at him like they were going to kill him. What do you mean we're not done? I did the introductions, what else is there? I asked in an innocent voice, making Kakashi raise his voice. Naruto, this is serious. This is not fun and games. You used a high-level summoning jutsu without us knowing, and to top it off, you're hiding your skills as a ninja. I'm not trying sound aggressive to you, Naruto, but this is serious. If you do plan on killing Gato, we're going to need to know your skills as a ninja so we can accurately plan out this mission, and we still got to deal with Zabuza. Kakashi said as I just nodded at what he said. Now, where did you learn that jutsu and what is its summon? What do you think, May? I honestly don't want you telling them, but if you want to be with Kagaya and stay with your friends, then I suggest you only tell the ones you trust. Okay. Thanks, May. You're welcome, Naruto-kun. Oh hey, May, quick question. What is it, Naruto-kun? Since I was able to summon Kamiho, does that mean I will be able to summon you? Yes, you can. All you have to do is think about me when you are about to use the jutsu. Okay, thank you. Giggles, you're welcome. Alright, I'll tell you. But only certain people. I said, making Kakashi and Kushina look at me. Naruto. Kushina was about to object, but I soon cut her off. The fewer people that know, the better. I said as Kakashi sighed. Alright, Naruto, who are these people then? Kakashi asked as I closed my eyes. Kakashi and Sasuke. Naruto, I think that you're already on thin ice with me, so you shouldn't try to push your luck. I said, making Kushina flinch. Now let's take this outside and talk about this. Alright. Kakashi said as he stands up and walks towards the door, and Sasuke does the same. Kumiho, Sumu, all of you guys want to come with? I asked, earning a nod from them. Mini time skip. Alright, Naruto, we did what you asked of us, now tell us. Sai, okay, listen, what I tell you stays between us. I said, making Kakashi nod. Naruto's pav. The Jubi. Is that like another tailed beast or something? Sasuke asked, making me look at him and nod. But I thought you were the Jinchuriki of the 9 tails. Sasuke asked, making me nod once again, but then I looked towards Kakashi. He probably already figured it out. Kakashi. You know, don't you? I asked, getting a nod from him and making Sasuke's eyes widen. Wait, Kakashi knows? Sasuke asked in a surprised tone, making the Hatake nod. Since when, Kakashi, have you been watching Naruto? Sasuke asked with a hint of anger in his voice. No, I wasn't, Sasuke. But think about it. Ever since Kagaya-san came, Naruto's power has been different, along with his attitude towards his family. Kakashi said, earning a small smile and a nod from me. He's right, Sasuke. Everything he said was right, well, most of it at least, but still right. After saying that, Sasuke calmed down a bit. So you have the Jubi, what does that mean? Sasuke asked, making me lean on the side of the house. Sai, it means that I'm the most strongest person in the world, along with the strength of the other tailed beasts. I said, making Kakashi and Sasuke's eyes widen. Why you're stronger than the other Jinchuriki? Kakashi asked, making me nod once again. Well, at my current level, no. I might be only able to fight only 2-tailed beasts, but that would probably be my limit. I said in a calm tone. Now on to the next part. The other girls in that room, as you heard their names, one of them is the Kyuubi, which is correct. If you don't believe me, I can have her show her tails, but she won't do it in front of other people unless I tell her to, because she says, I only want you to see them, Naru-kun, and besides, it's tradition to only show your lover your tails, or so she says. Now you're probably thinking how I got her out. Well, after I met Kagaya for the first time, she gave me the Jubi and replaced Kumiho, and with the Jubi being the mixture of all the other tailed beasts, I thought she just took her soul, which I was wrong. I didn't find out until later that Kumiho went back to living the way she was. Now enough rambling, it's time to get on with what we're here for. The other 2 are my summons along with Kumiho, and they all come from the same contract. The demon contract. Thud. I guess they couldn't handle my awesomeness. I highly doubt that. That was rude, May. What do you expect, Naruto-kun? I'm a demon. Can't argue with that. Sai, I don't think they're going to get up anytime soon. Might as well take them inside. Time skip. Naruto's pav. Naruto-kun, wake up. Kagaya. What are you doing? How did you get here? Aren't you supposed to be in the village? I was so lonely and I wanted you. Why you wanted me? Yes, Naruto-kun, I want you so bad. Single quote. Single quote. I want you to do it with me, Naruto-kun. Single quote. Single quote. May, what the? Ha 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 ha. Uzumaki-san, wake up. Tsunami said as she began to wake me up, which she succeeded in doing. Hey Tsunami-san, can you give me a minuet to get myself together? I asked, getting a nod from her as she left the room. May, that wasn't funny. It was pretty funny. I hate you. I love you too, Naruto-kun. Sai, May, where's my team? They let you sleep in and went with the bridge builder to the bridge to finish it. Thanks. Mini time skip. After I changed my clothes, I heard screaming, so I walked down the stairs normally, and when I did, I saw 2 men gathered around Tsunami, which I assume is Gato's men. I then walked towards to the sink and get some water. You know it's rude to walk into someone's house. I said as I put the cup in the sink, and looked back towards the 2 thugs. You got a death wish or something? One of them asked, making me look towards him. No. Not at all, I was just saying, but you do. I said, making them get ready to attack. If you would leave, I won't kill you. I said as I began to take out a kunai, and they didn't leave, so I just ended up killing them. Hey Tsunami, lock the doors and stay away from the window. I'll leave a clone here to protect you and Inari. I said, making her nod in fear. Inari, stay upstairs. I yelled as I ran towards the bridge. Mini time skip. Kakashi's pav. We won't be able to survive this. Naruto and Menma are barely holding their own against the Hunter Nin. Sakura is barely capable of fighting these guys. Sasuke is dead and me and Kushina are busying with Zabuza. Where's Naruto when you need him? As Kushina rushed at Zabuza again with her sword and tried to hit him, he blocked the hit with his sword, and as soon as the swords hit there was a large surge of power. When we all felt the power we all stopped fighting and looked to where it was, and when we did we saw Naruto. Naruto's pav. Naru ni. Naruto. As I teleported into the box of ice I was greeted with Naruto, and Menma all scratched up, and Sasuke dead. As I stared at his lifeless body I then began to feel my anger build up. I looked towards Naruto and Menma. Sasuke's dead and you guys are alive. How does that work? I asked as they looked down to the groan, which pissed me off. Answer me. How does he look more beaten up than you two? I asked as I still didn't get a response from them, which set me past. You don't deserve to be ninja. I said as I looked towards the Hunter Nin. Did you kill my brother? I asked, getting a nod from the Nin. I then lower my head and let tears run down my face. Why? He was my brother. He was one of the only good things that happened in my life. Why did you take him from me? I asked as more and more tears kept running down my face. He wanted to become a ninja. He knew what he signed up for. The Nin said, which made me look at him. That's right. Could I be so dumb? Ninjas die in battle. I said as I began to laugh, which then turned to crying. You're going to die. In the name of Sasuke Uchiha I will avenge him. I said as my body then began to be covered in purple chakra. I then started to get on all fours, which resemble the posture of a fox. My body then was completely covered in the purple chakra. I then start to feel the chakra around my back change into the form of tails of 3, which then turned to 4 when I felt a sharp pain. My skin then starts to peel off and my blood starts to float out of my body, covering the inside of the chakra, turning it to a black orb. The black orb then proceeds to break apart and reveals my skin covered in purple chakra, which seems to be moving constantly. I then heard Mei say something. Ah, what is that? Kakashi asked in a scared tone as he looked at his student. Is that Naruto? Sakura thought as she looked in horror. As everyone looked at Naruto in fear due to his power and how he looks, they felt that all they could do was watch. Saki. Naruto screamed as he began to grab his head and dropped to his knees in pain. He couldn't handle the loss of his brother. He had to accept the fact that he was now gone. You killed him. He did nothing wrong to you. So why? Naruto screamed as he began to stand up from his knees and get back into the stance of a fox. I want an answer. Naruto screamed as he began to growl at the Nin, making him shiver. I had to. I'm a tool. It was an order from Zabuza-sama. And his orders are absolute. They responded as they began to bring up their left arm that has needles in between their fingers. I do not wish to fight you, but if your intentions are to harm Zabuza-sama in any way, then I will have to put you down. The Nin said as they began to launch a series of needles at Naruto, which did successfully hit but did not penetrate him due to his chakra skin. Naruto-kun, you have 2 options right now. 1, kill them, or 2, let them survive, because in case you haven't noticed, Sasuke is alive. Single quote. Single quote. Naruto turns around to look at Sasuke and notice that all the needles were enlodged in his skin, but they were not fatal parts of his body. Naruto then turns back to the Nin and growls at them. Then Naruto does a loud roar that shatters all the mirrors, forcing the Nin out. Once the Nin falls to the ground, Naruto runs at the Nin, but as soon as the Nin stands up, Naruto rushes at them and punches the Nin dead square in the face, launching the Nin all the way back to where Kakashi, Kushina, and Zabuza are. As soon as the Nin hit the ground, Zabuza starts to run towards the Nin. Haku. Zabuza screams as he finally reaches the Nin. When he does, he picks up the Nin named Haku by the head and lays him or her on his knee and quickly takes off the mask, and when he does, it reveals a young girl who looks to be around Naruto's age. Haku had blood running down her face from her lip and she was starting to breathe heavily and cough, which made Zabuza worry. Hey Haku, come on, stay strong. Haku, hey, look at me. Zabuza said, making Haku look towards Zabuza, who had tears. I'm sorry that you had to go through this, it's all my fault. Zabuza said as he was in tears, making Naruto stare at them. Haku, seeing Zabuza like this, made her smile. She was happy that he was finally showing some emotions which he didn't like to, but she was also worried that since she was going to die soon, which would probably make him go suicidal. Haku attempts to move her hand towards Zabuza's cheek, which she couldn't, but Zabuza knew what she was trying to do, so he grabbed her hand and put it on her cheek. Zabuza-sama, please don't cry, I don't want you to cry. Haku said, making Zabuza sniffle. Haku, before you die I want you to know something. Zabuza said, making Haku listen carefully. I always thought of you as my daughter. Zabuza said, making Haku smile at him. You too. I always thought of you as my father. Haku said as she gave him a weak smile. Looks like it's my time. Goodbye, Otu-san. Zabuza eyes widen. He never expected this to happen. Haku died. Haku. Zabuza screamed with tears running down his face, making Naruto growl, which got Zabuza's attention. He quickly turned around only to be met with the sight of Naruto right behind him, which made him jump and draw his sword. You killed her. Zabuza yelled as he swung his sword at Naruto, but Naruto just blocked it with his hand and dove it into the ground. Zabuza was now frightened. He had no way to defend himself. He was useless without his sword, and now he was going to die. He prepared himself by closing his eyes and taking a deep breath, but as he waited nothing happened, so he opened his eyes to see Naruto pointing at Haku's lifeless body. Zabuza was skeptical on why he was pointing at his daughter's body, but he was somewhat curious, so he nodded slowly, which made Naruto give him a growl. Naruto then walks like a fox, and when he reached Haku's body he hesitantly moved his hand towards Haku's heart. When his hand touched where Haku's heart is, it began to glow purple, which made everyone's eyes widen. What's this? Zabuza, what the hell is this? I thought I paid you to kill the bridge builder and anyone who interferes. A short man with glasses with men behind him yelled, which made everyone turn to him except Naruto, who was still doing whatever he was doing with Haku's body. Gato, what are you doing here? Zabuza asked in a surprised tone, which made Gato smirk. Well, I assumed that something like this was going to happen, so I thought I would clean up the mess you made and tie up any loose ends. Gato said, making the thugs behind him crack their knuckles and such. Men, take care of him and leave the women alive, they could be used for your own personal uses. Gato said, making every female ninja look at him with disgust. But as soon as Gato gave the order, his thugs began to run towards everyone, which made them get prepared for battle. Naruto's pav. May, did it work? It did. Good job. Thanks. Now let's go kill Gato. As I was done healing Haku, I turned to Gato's men and began to walk towards them, but I was soon stopped when Zabuza spoke to me. You healed her, didn't you? Zabuza asked, making me give him a growl. I assume that was a yes. He asked as I gave him a little nod, which made him give me a sad smile. Thanks, I owe you. And I'm sorry for everything, he said as I just gave him another growl. As the thugs got closer, I began to growl even more, which made everyone besides Zabuza look at me with fear. Let's go. I rushed at the army of thugs at a fast speed that no one was able to keep up with, and when I reached them I began to slice them through the stomach with my claws, which made them spit out blood and their bodies began to fall apart. With each strike I took, the more blood and the more bodies came. It was enjoyable to say the least, but this was going to top everything. As I cut the last thug down, I was left with only one more person to kill, but I wasn't going to kill him. He was. As I looked towards Zabuza, I pointed at Gato, who was starting to get away but soon tripped. Thanks, kid. Zabuza said as he teleported to Gato with a kunai. As soon as he teleported to Gato, I turned to Sasuke and walked towards him, and I ignored Menma and Naruto, and when I reached Sasuke's body I started to pull out the needles that was in his body, and when I finished I picked up his body and began to walk to Kakashi, and while I was walking towards him I started to transform back to the way I was before I went into tailed beast state. Time skip. Naruto's pav. The trip back to the village was quiet to say the least, but it was peaceful. But as we walked I kept overhearing Kakashi and Kushina talk about me. I didn't care that they were, it was just the fact that they didn't stop. Mini time skip. As we got to the gate I was met with the strongest bear hug. Naruto-kun, you're alright. I missed you so much. Kagaya said as she started to squeeze me tighter and tighter. Kagaya cc can't be breathe. I said as she giggled and let go of me only to punch me in the head. Ouch. What the hell, Kagaya? I yelled in pain as I rubbed my head. Kagaya looked at me and pouted. You idiot. May told me everything. Kagaya yelled as she blushed and turned away. Wah, what did that pervert tell you? I yelled, making Kagaya turn to me with a surprised look. She's a pervert. You're the pervert. You're the one having perverted dreams about me. Kagaya shouted as she pointed at me. What? She was the one to come into my dreams and impersonate as you and give me perverted thoughts. If anything, she's the pervert. I yelled, making Kagaya look at me for a second before she turned around with her arms crossed. I believe you. She said as she began to walk to the Hokage Tower. Come on, don't you guys have to go there anyways for your report? Kagaya asked as she turned around and faced me and everyone else. We all gave her a nod and began walking. Hey Sasuke, I have a question. Sakura said, making Sasuke respond. I swear if you ask me out, no, it's not that. Sakura said, making Sasuke listen along with Naruto and Menma. Then what is it? Sasuke asked. Who is that woman that Naruto was talking to? Sakura asked, making Menma and Naruto listen closer. That's not my place to say. If you want to know, either ask Naruto or Kagaya-san. Sasuke replied as he kept walking. Hey Kagaya, is it just me or is everyone staring at me more than they used to? I asked, making Kagaya look at them then to me. Now that you mention it, they are strange. Kagaya replied, making me sigh. Their stares are not of anger anymore, it's more of a fierce stare. I said, making Kagaya nod. As we were talking, we noticed that we reached the Hokage's office. Kakashi then knocks on the door and we all hear a faint, come in, so Kakashi opened the door and it revealed Minato with a very happy look. Welcome back, Team 7. I hope that the mission went well. Minato asked as he tried to keep his excitement. Yes, Hokage-sama, the mission went somewhat smoothly, but we had some complications. Kakashi said, making Minato adopt a confused look. What do you mean, Kakashi-kun? Minato asked as he kept taking peeks at me and Kagaya. Why is he taking peeks at me? How do you not know? What do you mean? Sai, Kagaya has her chin on your head along with her S touching your back and she has her arms wrapped around your chest. As I paid attention more, I started to feel someone doing those things that May mentioned, so I looked at the person's hands and saw that they're pale white. What the hell, Kaguya? Geez, calm down, Naruto, it's not that big of a deal yet. Not that big of a deal? What do you mean, May? This is a huge deal. Not as huge as you and her losing each other's virginity. May, I hate you. He, I know. Naruto, will you come here please? Minato asked, making me raise an eyebrow, but I didn't question, so I did as he said. Now this is a direct order from the Hokage. I want to know who that woman is. Minato said with authority in his voice, making me roll my eyes. If it's an order, I guess I don't have a choice. Well, the woman standing before you is my fiancé, Kagaya Otsutsuki. I said, making everyone's eyes widen except Sasuke's. Fiancé. But isn't she an adult? Minato asked, making me sigh. You didn't ask that in the order, so I am not going to respond. Now, is there anything else? I asked with a tint of annoyance in my voice, making Minato sigh. He then takes out a black book and hands it to me. A bingo book? I asked, making him nod. Look at the first page. NN Naruto Uzumaki, other known as the Purple Bloody Fox, SSS rank. Am I seeing this right? I think I'm high. I must be high, I said, making everyone besides Minato, Menma, Naruto, and Kushina laugh, but instead I made them jealous. Oh, my little Naruto-kun has finally became a SSS rank ninja. I'm so happy for you. Kagaya said, hugging me so hard it makes us fall to the ground. As I was struggling to get out of Kagaya's bear hug once again, Kakashi coughed, trying to get our attention. Nay, Naruto, can please show some respect at the Hokage. Yuta Kagaya-san. Kakashi said, making Kagaya get off me and making me sigh. And besides, once this is over, you two can spend your time doing something more efficiently. Kakashi said with an eyed smile, making every girl in the room blush, even Kagaya, and making Minato blush a little. I was just standing there with a confused face. I didn't know what they were talking about. As I was about to ask, I was silenced when I saw Kushina punch Kakashi in the head, sending him to the ground. Sai, so Naruto, why are you in the bingo book? And why are you called the purple bloody fox? Minato asked, making be quiet. I don't want to talk about it. I said, making Menma speak up. He's just too scared to admit the fact that he's a murderer. Menma said, making everyone besides the team gasp. Minato turned to me once again, but his face was filled with sadness. Is that true, Naruto? He asked, making me turn away. Yeah, it's true. I said, making Minato gain a face of guilt. I'm sorry to. You get used to it after a while, so no need to apologize even if you are the cause for it. I said, making Minato flinch a little and making Menma speak up in a tone that I wish he never speaks in. Don't talk to your father like that. Menma roared in anger, making me turn to him. He's not my father. Even though he is the reason that I'm alive. I said, making Menma even angrier, and Minato looked down with guilt, but he quickly did a 180 with his emotions and got serious. Okay. So Team 7, can you please give me the report on the mission? Minato asked, making Kakashi and Kushina nod. The mission was a success, but it did have some interesting bumps. Kushina said to her husband, making him raise an eyebrow. What kind of bumps? Minato asked, making Kushina respond, well, Naruto was the cause for the bumps in the mission. Kushina said, making Minato turn to me but turn back. What did he do? He asked, making Kushina respond. He cooked for the whole village. He used a summoning contract, that we still don't know what it is. He fought the enemies head on with ease, and lastly he slaughtered all of Gato's men. Kushina finished, making Minato turn to and was about to ask a question but was soon stopped by Kagaya. Naruto-kun, did you do it? Kagaya asked, making me nod, and making her tackle me to the ground again. Oh, congratulations. Did you finally meet her? Kagaya asked in excitement, making everyone raise an eyebrow. Naruto, what is she talking about, and please explain what Kushi-chan is talking about? Minato asked, making me sigh. Mini time skip. As we were walking out of the Hokage Tower, we were all talking about random things, but Kagaya got my attention. Naruto-kun, Kagaya said in a seductive voice, making me look at her with a happy face. Yes. I asked, making her lean close to my ear. Are we going to have fun? Kagaya asked with a smirk, making me back away from her. Okay, listen up, my cute little genins, before you guys go here. Kakashi said, handing us a flyer. What is this? Sasuke asked, making me respond. Well, what you are currently holding is the pass to get into the Chunin exams. I said, trying my best to ignore the fact that Kagaya is rubbing her face on my face. Ah, sweet. Menma said, making me respond. No, it's not. You have a high chance of dying in. I said, getting a nod from Kakashi and Kushina. He's right, Menma. You do have a high chance of dying. Kushina said, making Menma growl. Well, now that this is done, what is everyone going to do now? Kakashi asked, making me respond first. I'm going to go shopping with Kagaya. I said, making Kakashi grow an evil eye smile. Oh, is this a date perhaps? Kakashi asked, getting the attention of Kushina. Wait, what's happening? Kushina asked in confusion, getting a reply from her daughter. Naru-ni is going on a date with, what was her name? It was, Kagaya. Yeah, Kagaya-san. Naruko replied, making Kushina nod until she grasped the situation. No. Kushina yelled, making everyone look at her. Is there something wrong, Kushina? Kakashi asked, making her turn to him. Damn right, there's something wrong. I don't want my son going on a date with older women. I don't care if she is your fiancé. I forbid you. Kushina screamed, making me turn to her with a evil glare. Last time I checked, you aren't my mom. I said, getting a bit mad, which made Menma smirk evilly. Well, I'm still an adult. Kushina said, making me roll my eyes. I don't care. Let's just go, Kagaya. I said, making her smile and nod. Mini time skip. Hey Naruto-kun, are you okay? Kagaya asked as I gave her a sad smile. Yeah, I'm okay. I said, making Kagaya nod. Hey Kagaya, can I show you something? I asked, making her nod. Okay, let's go. I said, grabbing her hand and began running. Mini time skip. Hey Naruto-kun, why are we on the Hokage monument? Kagaya asked, making me respond. Well, the sunset is going to make this even better. I said, ignoring her question. Hey Kagaya, over the time on the mission I realized something. I said, getting her attention. What was it? Kagaya asked, making me smile at the sunset. Well, the song that I made. I said, making Kagaya blush and smile. Why, you made a song for me? Kagaya asked, making nod. Do you wanna hear it? I asked, making her nod. I then proceed to take out my MP3 player and began to play the song. Found you when your heart was broke. I filled your cup until it overflowed. Took it so far to keep you close, keep you close. I was afraid to leave you on your own. I said I'd catch you if you fall. And if they laugh, then I'm all. And then I got you off your knees. Put you right back on your feet. Just so you can take advantage of me. Tell me, how's it feel sitting up there? Feeling so high but too far away to hold me. You know I'm the one who put you up there. Name in the sky. Does it ever get lonely? Thinking you could live without me. Thinking you could live without me. Baby, I'm the one who put you up there. I don't know why, yeah, I don't know why. Thinking you could live without me. Live without me. Baby, I'm the one who put you up there. I don't know why, I don't know why, yeah. Gave love bout 100 tries. Just running from the demons in your mind. Then I took yours and made him mine. I didn't notice 'cause my love was blind. Said I'd catch you if you fall. And if they laugh, then I'm all. And then I got you off your knees. Put you right back on your feet. Just so you can take advantage of me. Tell me, how's it feel sitting up there? Feeling so high but too far away to hold me. You know I'm the one who put you up there. Name in the sky. Does it ever get lonely? Thinking you could live without me. Thinking you could live without me. Baby, I'm the one who put you up there. I don't know why, yeah, I don't know why. Thinking you could live without me. Live without me. Baby, I'm the one who put you up there. I don't know why, yeah. You don't have to say just what you did. I already know, I know. I had to go and find out from them. So tell me, how's it feel, oh whoa. Tell me, how's it feel sitting up there? Feeling so high but too far away to hold me. You know I'm the one who put you up there. Name in the sky. Does it ever get lonely? Thinking you could live without me. Thinking you could live without me. Baby, I'm the one who put you up there. I don't know why, yeah, I don't know why. Once I finished the song, I looked towards Kagaya, who had tears running down her face, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of happiness. Before I could speak, Kagaya instantly rushed towards me and crashed her lips onto mine, making my eyes widen, but I soon started to kiss back. As I and Kagaya were still kissing, I felt her hands start to rub up and down my back, and she started to in the kiss. As she was in the kiss, she started to move her hands down towards my pants. The thoughts in my head were telling me many different ideas. Do I let her keep going or do I stop it? I wanted to keep going, but I knew it was wrong. I grabbed her hand and stopped her. She looks up at me with a sad look. I look away from her, so I wasn't persuaded by her look. Kagaya, we can't do this, I said as I began to move away from her, making her give me a sad, confused look. Naruto-kun, is it because I did something wrong? If so, just tell me, I'll make sure I change to make you happy. Kagaya pleaded, making me look away from her in guilt. I can't do this, it's wrong. I thought as I did my best to not look at Kagaya. You did nothing wrong, Kagaya, it's just this is wrong. We can't do this, I'm too young. I responded, making Kagaya's face faltered. I see, you just don't want me. Kagaya whispered in a low tone enough for me to hear. I quickly turned around and looked at Kagaya, who had her head down. K-ka. Before I could speak, Kagaya yelled, "Don't bother." Kagaya shouted, making my eyes wide. Kagaya. I began to get worried. She never shouted at me before, so when she did, it hurt me. "You're just like him, you're a monster," Kagaya said with hatred in her voice, which made me flinch. She then proceeded to stand up and began walking away from me. As she left, I started to feel my eyes heat up, and right as they heated up, I felt a tear going down my left cheek. Kagaya. It's not your fault. It's not the first time that this has happened. What do you mean? Well, do you know the being sage of six paths? He was the one who started the ninja world. Yes, he was, but he is also the oldest son of Kagaya. He's what? Don't scream. Sorry. Like I was saying before, he was the oldest son of Kagaya and the youngest son was his brother. Before the sage, Kagaya was here, but she is not from this world. I don't know where she's from, so don't ask. When she arrived, she fell in love with a simple human that was the leader of a village. Over time, the two began to fall in love, and then one day they had two children, and they were named Hagoromo Otsutsuki and Haruma Otsutsuki. But then as days went on, war began to break out, and the man that Kagaya loved soon forced her and the children out of the village out of horror. That's why. What should I do then? Should I go after her? No, it would be best if you give her time. Wiping my tears away, I stand up and I jump off the Hokage monument and began to freefall. As I reach the ground, I start to make my way to the forest of death to train. I want to forget. Time skip. Sasuke's POV. Hey Sasuke, have you seen Naruto? Mom asked as she started to get worried. No, I haven't. Didn't he come home last night? I asked, getting a nervous nod from Mom. He didn't. I haven't seen him since you guys got back from your mission. Mom responded, making Dad respond. Maybe we should ask Kagaya-san. She's always with Naruto, so maybe she knows. Yeah, maybe she does. I responded. As I began to walk up the stairs, I start to hear a faint noise of sniffling. As I get closer, I can start to hear it more clearly. In NN na Naruto-kun, I'm SS sorry. Is Kagaya-san crying? I thought as I began to make my way back downstairs to talk with Mom and Dad. So what did she say? Mom asked, making me shake my head. Right now is not the best time to talk to her. I said, making Mom get a little mad. All I want to know is where my son is. She responded, making me a little afraid. I'll go find him, Itachi said as he ran out the door. Naruto's POV. Why would she act like that? I don't understand. Is it because I look like him? Or is it because she just wants to use me for my body? Thoughts were going through my head. They were starting to overwhelm me and I just couldn't take it anymore. As I stared at one tree, I began to walk towards it, and when I reached it, I let out a loud scream and began to punch it repeatedly until my hand began to bleed. Don't bother. You're just like him. You're a monster. You killed everyone. You're a monster. You're just a demon hiding among us humans. You don't belong with humans. You